How do investors make sense of Mark Zuckerberg's spending spree? Well, one way to do it is to compare what Facebook is doing now to what Google has been doing for years. Heard on the streets, Miriam Gottfried is here with a high-tech tale of the tape. Miriam, how are you?
I really like that alliteration.
You like that?
Yeah.
We try. We try here on the Money Beat Show. Facebook spending a lot of money. How do you figure out what it all means? What do you look at to sort of compare it to?
You know, it's really tough because initially you see Facebook spending all this money. You don't know if it's worth it. There's no way to know. There's no revenue, there's no profits for any of these deals. I mean,
these recent
minute
deals,
amounts of revenue and no profits. So how can you say it's worth Oculus, this virtual reality company, is worth $2 billion?
Right.
How can you say it's not worth $2 billion? You don't really know. And so what you have to do, I think, is really go back to what you do know. And that's the core businesses. So you can look at Facebook's core business and you can see how it's growing. And then, you know, you can look at Google, which also has a lot of spaghetti that it's throwing at the wall, a lot of weird projects that it's up to that make probably very little to no revenue and don't really affect its profits that much. And you can look at its core business and you can say, okay, that's not growing quite as quickly as Facebook, but you know, right now Facebook trades at about 120% premium to Google. And granted, it's growing much faster. It's an earlier stage company. But is that 120% premium really warranted?
Right. Well, I mean, one thing is, how many of these companies do they need to buy? Or not necessarily that. How many of them do they need to pay off to make all the other ones worthwhile? I mean, Google, they bought YouTube, and people question that one.
That was a pretty good deal.
That was a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of these deals that Facebook is doing right now do they need to pay off?
They might not really need, I mean, over the long term, we don't know. You know, it depends on how long investors give them to let it pay off. You know, Instagram, it's been a couple years. We're just starting to maybe see revenue.
It's popular.
They're testing ads on it. They haven't really fully launched regular ads, you know, that you see all the time in Instagram. So they're taking it slowly. And I think right now, you know, the market is not pricing in, you know, too much value to these sort of options on the future. But I do think you're paying something for those at Facebook, where at Google you're maybe paying a little less for those options on the future.
And you can see Facebook is paying quite a lot. Look at that chart that we pulled up there. Those are billion-dollar deals going back to about a year ago to when Facebook bought Instagram. I mean, look how big. And the WhatsApp deal is mammoth at $19 billion.
It's huge.
And the fact that they have that money to spend, I think, speaks to certainly the stock price, certainly how much cash they have on the books. When do investors get nervous?
Well, you know, going back to what you just said, we were talking about, you were talking about stock price. I mean, there wasn't actually that much cash that was in these deals for Facebook. So I think that's one thing that's giving them an advantage. And so, you know, investors don't really have that much say about what Mark Zuckerberg goes out and buys because he is in control of this company. But what they do have say in is how much they're going to value the company at. So they're giving him the currency. So we might see the nervousness, you know, if Instagram never, you know, Instagram being the first deal, maybe that's the one people are going to look at to see, you know, how soon can we get revenues and profits from that. The other ones, I think it's going to be a matter of, you know, quite a few years. It might be like 5 years before people start to expect to see results from that.
All right, Miriam, excellent stuff. Thank you very much.